Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over the brand new Dominique Cosmetics Transition Palette. As soon as I saw this, I knew I wanted it because A, it's an all matte palette, and B, I have been a fan of Dominique Cosmetics, Christian Dominique. I love her matte formula. I think it's really good. And I was pleasantly surprised when this came in the mail because the pictures online, it kind of reminded me a little bit more of the warm tone palettes that I really like the Viseart ones. It kind of reminded me of the tones that are in the By Mario palette. But when I got this in, I don't know what I was looking at because this is definitely warm, neutral, and cool, and that makes me so happy. And I definitely wasn't disappointed when I started getting my fingers in it either. I was like, oh yes, nice and creamy, that texture that I am used to. So what I'm going to be doing is this eye look right here, as well as using it on my face. So this is what I have on to brighten up underneath my eyes. I have it on as my bronzer and my blush, and then of course I have Dominique Cosmetics on my lips. So let's start off with the information on the palette. On the Dominique Cosmetics website, it reads, "Life is complicated, makeup shouldn't be. To keep things simple, we created your new everyday go-to, a versatile multi-use palette with a range of warm to cool, neutral, matte tones. Define, contour, brighten, and highlight. Play up your eyes, enhance your brows, choose daytime to no makeup looks, or go full on sultry, smoky glam. There's not much our transition palette's blendable, long-wearing pigments can't do. We even made the pan sizes large enough to fit a complexion brush so you can create endless looks more easily than ever." The palette has that soft matte, kind of like that grippy feel, similar to NARS. I always compare it to NARS because that's the first brand I think I ever touched that had that type of texture, and I love the color of the palette. I just love these slightly pinky nudes. I think they're beautiful. And then it says Transition Palette, Dominique Cosmetics. You do have a large mirror on the inside, and then these gorgeous all matte shades. For the swatches, the first row we have Frothy, Natural, Caramel, Toffee, and Honey. Second row, Soft and Sweet, Blushing, Chai, Cinnamon, Coffee Beans. And lastly, the third row, Hazelnut, Mocha, Ash, Coal, and Smoky. The palette retails for $48. It's currently sold out at retailers, but it says that it is returning soon. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the eye look, then we will get into the face, and then we will get into my thoughts. The first thing I want to do is add a little color to my face in the terms of like bronzing it up a little bit. I have been kind of finger swatching these, and I'm going in between these, ooh, not that one, these two shades. And this one, it could be a little too warm, but this one's a little too dark. So what I want to do is start off with Caramel, which is the one that could be a little too warm. And then if I need to, maybe just kind of dip my brush into Toffee. I'm going to use the Sonia G Classic Face from the Kiyaki set, and I'm going into Caramel. I am going to tap a little bit of this off just because these are pigmented. Like when I was touching them, they are pigmented. So let's start here. If you can get an eyeshadow to blend really well on the face, that is a good sign. I like it, but I kind of want to mix the two. Kind of want to mix Toffee and I'm scared. Ah! Okay, I'm going to mix Caramel and Toffee. Again, tapping off. And I'm going to start a little further back. That's not bad. I don't know how it's coming off on camera, but the color looks pretty good to me. This is blending out beautifully. Bringing it down just a little bit so I don't have like a harsh line going this way. I just take it down my chin, and I'll put a little bit on my neck. I'm going to go up on my forehead. I'll buff a little bit underneath my lip. Now I want to see if I can use those two shades on my nose. I'm going to dip very, very lightly. This is Tom Ford number 11. Royal Inlaying Nickel BOM 265. I don't have any product on this. Just softening up, making sure it's nice and blended out. Now I'm going to zoom you guys in and create an eye look. I don't even know which direction I'm going to go with it quite yet. I'm just going to go with the flow. On a Sonia G Classic Crease, first I'm going to go in with the shade Blushing. As per the usual, my eye is not set. The eye primer. I'm going to start on this outer corner. I really like this color. I really like the shades in this palette in general. I like that it's warm, cool, and neutral. It's really pretty. Anywho, getting this on the outer half of the lid in the corner, and I'm going to start working it upward. And bringing it into this inner portion as well, but with the excess from the brush. I don't want there to be too much on this inner corner, inner crease area. Just a hint. I'm going to build it up a little bit. Making sure I get this outer portion. I'm taking that same shade on a Rephr number 3 and taking it right along the lower lash line. Next, I'm going in with the shade Hazelnut on a Blender Pro from Sonia G. Again, starting on the outer half of the lid. Just want to add some definition and a little bit of warmth. By bringing it into the crease, slightly upward. On a Sonia G Builder Pro, I'm now going to take the shade Natural. I'm going to pack this on the front portion of my lid and then start tapping lightly over the other colors. I do want to build this up a little bit. Taking the excess from the brush, I'm going to blend that right underneath the brow arch and into the other shades. Mocha on a Wayne Goss number 19. I'm lightly adding a little depth with this shade, but I'm going to further add depth with another one. But I want to drag this one over just a little bit more. Then I'm going to take the other shade. Same brush and the shade Coffee Beans. This is going to add just a little bit more depth on this very outer corner. And then I'm lightly going to smoke out this outer corner with that color, like the excess on the brush. Bringing it into my crease a little bit as well. Blender Pro, no additional product. I'm just going to blend right around the edges of that. Rephr number 3 in the shade Coal. This is the last thing I am going to do before I add on mascara and liner. I'm just taking this right along the top of my lash line. I finished off my eyes with Milk Boss liner and mascara, and now I'm going to finish off my face. I did go ahead and spray a sponge because I didn't want to mess up my hair and the eye look. So I sprayed my sponge and then I dabbed this all over my face to give me just a little bit more hydration. And now that it has settled in, I'm going to highlight first. So I want to take and highlight with one of my normal powders. I'm going to use one of the shades in the palette to go down the center of my face, but I want something a little bit more luminous on my cheekbones, and I wanted to go in with my Auric cream, but I didn't know how the shadows would react with it, so I'm just going to go in with my YSL 3D Oliver Glow powder and an Anastasia A23, and I'm just going to add just a little bit of this right on my cheekbone and up on my temple. Just want to have a little bit of a glow. Add some on my chin, and of course on my nose. I'm going to take my sponge and just go over that one more time. Still slightly dampened. Alright, now for the blush. I was trying to decide what shade to use. It's kind of in between these two. I can't. Like this might, I feel like I'm going to go with this one. Royal and Langnickel BOM 38. And again, the shade is Blushing. I might just mix it with a little bit of Soft and Sweet. And again, I'm tapping off. I'm going to start back and pressing it in. Ooh, that is a pretty combo. Like, I really like that. I really, really like that combination. I just think it's really pretty. Just going to lightly buff. I don't have any extra powder on this brush. I'm just buffing around the edges of all that. And then I'm going to go in and just kind of brighten with one of the shadows. I have a feeling Frothy is going to be a little too bright for me. So I'm thinking I'm going to go in with Natural. Wayne Goss Artist Small. Let's see, I got a little bit. Let's start down here. I'm going to mix the two. Just, okay, let's see. I think that looks nice. Take it on the side of my nose. Yeah, okay. That definitely really brightened up that area. This is the finished look, and I love it. I love an all matte look. I love these pigments. I love this palette. I'm very, very happy with the way this turned out and the blendability. Not all mattes, even though you can really use just about any palette you want that is good for your skin tone and has the pigmentation that you need, the coloring that you want. Not all of them will actually blend that well on your face. So I was really happy with the way that this worked on my face as well. So I wish I had put some in my brows. I didn't even think about that until I was reading the description, which I always do after. I do that after, yeah, so whatever. I could have put this in my brows very, very easily. And I love how versatile this is. To be completely honest, am I going to continue to use this all over my face? Probably not. I'm not going to use it for my bronzer very often, but in a pinch, if I needed to just bring one palette, it's nice that I could literally just have this. I would need my highlight though, because I have to have a little bit of a glow. But it's nice that you can do so much with just one palette, and I really love the tones. The tones are just absolutely gorgeous. I love them so, so much. Needless to say, I'm very happy with my purchase here. I'm very, very happy. But I want to show you guys some comparisons just in case you guys are wondering if this is something that you want to pick up or if there's something that you already have in your collection. I just picked up a few palettes that I thought I would just show you side by side. The first one being the one that I thought it was going to look like. And I gotta tell you, when I was taking pictures of the palette, it wasn't even coming out correct. Like this shade Honey right here, it kept looking very different in the picture than what it looks like in the palette. So I was like, forget it. So this is the By Mario Master Mattes and side by side the Transition Palette. I think this one is just a little bit more warm. It still has some neutral tones in there, but it's still more warm leaning. And then I thought about my Grand Pro Volume 1 from Viseart. Now this one, I think that if you have this, you probably don't need this one because there's so many shades in this palette that are similar to the ones that are in the Grand Pro. Like if you look at just like this half, there's some definitely similarities. They're not exact. Let me scoot over some more. Not exact, but you know, I don't think that you would need to have both. This really reminds me of one of my favorite all matte palettes. This is my favorite MAC palette that I have, and a lot of people weren't able to get their hands on this, and I recently talked about e.l.f. Mad for Mattes or something like that is a good dupe for this palette, but it also reminds me a lot of the Transition palette. So I think the black background kind of skews it just a little bit, but yeah, definitely some similarities there. This one, I would say like there's a little bit more of a coral in here than what is in here, and the purples are a little bit more dark in this one, but still reminiscent. Viseart Neutral Mattes. I love this palette. It's like if you, if you take this down here, like the bottom row, you can definitely see the similarities, but then you don't have those mauvey, neutral, just amazing shades in this palette, which you still have amazing shades. I love this palette, but you don't have the same. They're not the same. That's all I'm trying to say. They're not the same. Too Faced Natural Nudes. Now this one is a metallic and matte palette, but I wanted you guys to be able to see the mattes in here compared to the ones that are in the Dominique Cosmetics. And then lastly, but not least, I just want to quickly show you the new Tartelette Juicy. Silly name. Such a silly name. I don't get it. I'm going to complain. It smells so good. I'm going to complain about that forever. But this one is definitely, like, you've got those pinky tones and some of the more neutral tones. This one does not go all the way out, sorry. I'm trying to show you, but this one's definitely more pink than what the Dominique Cosmetics one is. Anywho, beauties, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and the demo. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.